Hey YouTube, welcome back to New Rock City, the show that brings you a brand new band each week with an interview and some music videos. Tonight we have a band all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada called Sprockets on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
First thing I just wanted to do was just have you introduce yourself and say what you do in the band, please.
I am Brody Knight. I am the lead singer and guitarist for the band.
Very cool. When did the band start and how did you guys meet?
I was born in Vegas. I moved to Boise, Idaho, some point in high school, junior high. Met Dave. We had mutual friends, and we didn't play any instruments yet. And slowly but surely, I remember one day I just wanted to be in a band. I don't know. It was definitely like, Green Day. I see Green Day on the wall.
Yeah.
That album, Dookie, was huge. Offspring and Damn It just was on the radio. So Dude Ranch was
cool.
like a huge one. And I was just like, really, I was like, I'm going to do this. I want to be, and everyone was like, you have to play an instrument. You have to know how to do something. You can't just be in a band. And I was like, yeah, you can. Totally. It's easy. And so me and Dave picked up, he picked up bass, I picked up guitar together. And we learned, we taught ourselves, and slowly but surely, met drummers, tons of drummers, went through so many drummers, and it was like a three-piece for years. And then moved to Vegas with the drummer that was on Medicaid Empty, which is, I guess, our second album. And he started doing his own thing, so we got a new drummer, and that's when we found Maddie. And Maddie is our current drummer, and hopefully our forever drummer. We love him. And so I guess Sprockets, the name Sprockets came in like 2006-ish.
Gotcha. Were you watching SNL at the time?
No, but we knew what it was.
Okay.
we were aware of what, Spacey Sprockets. Fraggle Rock had a Sprocket, the dog, on it. The Robots movie had a band called Sprockets. We were already Sprockets at that point, but they had a three-piece robot band called Sprockets. And we had all these great names picked out. Amazing names picked out, in my opinion, amazing names. And the first drummer, before the drummer we actually recorded with, was just hell-bent on not using any of those names.
Gotcha.
And he was really into, I think, Sparta and Thursday. So he really wanted something kind of theatrical, emotional and meaningful, and he wanted to stand behind it. So it was like this laundry list of names. And our name before we met that guy, was Cosmachi, which was a made-up name that some kid at school said that his dad calls meat when you shoot an animal, and the bullet, you can't eat around the bullet, I guess, or something. I don't know, whatever. So he called it the Cosmachi meat. I was like, oh, that's so cool, Cosmachi. And then he was like, we can't be called Cosmachi. It's a made-up name. No one knows what it is. And one day I was just driving around, and I saw the sticker, Spacey Sprockets, and I was like, why don't we just call ourselves the Sprockets? Just gears in society that just getting used over and over again. And I thought for sure he was gonna say no. And then he said yeah. So I was like, I'm over games. I'm not doing this anymore. So that's it. And then he never recorded with us. So that worked out great for us.
But you kept the name anyway. So
we got stuck with it, yeah. Yeah.
I want to back up because you said you guys all met in Boise. You are the first person that I've ever spoke to that's from Idaho. So what is the scene like there? What's the music scene like in Boise?
Okay. It's back then when we lived there, it was divided three ways between pretty equally too, country, butt rock.
Gotcha.
And I don't mean I mean Disturbed, that kind of stuff. It was Creed was huge, Creed was massive. And then there was the punks, the Sum 41s, the Blink-182 kids, and you were kind of the outcast,
Gotcha.
you were the weird kids. And so
so what about venues up there? So did you have punk nights at venues, or what was? No, nothing like that.
Gotcha. Not even after all that stuff really blew up either.
Really? Okay.
A lot of there was only a couple of venues that, there's only three venues that I know of now, but maybe two venues at that time that were under 21.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't really much
So there's not a lot of music really going on there, live music going
Yeah,
on
so
there.
like the punk music was definitely a younger crowd at that time for sure. And so we didn't really have like anywhere to play, I guess. We played a lot. I remember one time we played a Mormon parking lot, and
Oh, that's
it
interesting.
and it's because there was nowhere else to play. And so we had fireworks and and I don't know if someone broke into the church or if it was open or what the deal was, but I remember in the video that we have of it, there's like us playing and there's fireworks and it's it's like a streamer, so it's like just streaming. And behind us there's like kids moshing, like silhouettes of kids moshing inside the church.
Oh
And I always
man.
thought that was so cool, but being older and looking back, I'm like, I think we caused like kind of like a break in an entry thing going on over there because I don't think that it was open. I think they would have kicked us off.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah, there wasn't many places. Uh at the time it was Big Easy, now it's Knitting Factory. We played there a year and a half, 2 years ago,
Oh
and
wow.
they're great. Knitting Factory is a great company though. And so I mean, I don't know, it's not a ton. It's
Gotcha.
like a lot of acoustic acts for restaurants, and I don't know. It's a hard scene, but everyone's so close to each other.
Gotcha.
The Percolators were a band that gave Sprockets our first like 3 shows, and they had a really good following, and they were a ska band.
Gotcha.
They were they were kind of like a ska band. The guys have all split up, and 2 of them do Franks and Deans, which is a very cool project out here in Vegas, and it's kind of ironic they moved to Vegas too, but um they kind of gave us a shirt. So like ska's always kind of like been good to us, like that's why it's funny that we were talking about ska earlier,
Yeah.
and I was watching that episode, and in there it's like if you were even close to the genre, you supported each other because
Gotcha.
there wasn't much of it. And then I remember like the first year, Blink and Green Day and Offspring and I think Bad Religion, they all came and they sold out like the arena 3 days in a row. Like it was like
Oh,
three
that's cool.
different shows, like it was all within like a week. And I remember my mind was just blown. Like I was like, wow, this is amazing. And this is what I want to do. This is totally what I want. Once that happened, I think it opened it up so much where the butt rockers kind of liked it and the country guys kind of liked it. And so it became more accepting. So our music there started taking off, and
Oh, that's cool.
that was great for us. So a lot of doors opened up, and then we ran through them as fast as we could, and that's how we ended up in Vegas.
So I wanted to jump straight into your music and talk about your second album that was entitled Medicated Empty.
Mm-hmm.
And that album actually received some good press, and the
Yeah.
was even one of the songs was even used on an NBC show. That's pretty cool. How did
Yeah.
that come about for you guys?
Well, the whole deal came out because we had a demo, like 4 songs from that album, and we recorded in some guy's like closet. I don't know. It was a weird deal.
Like a legit closet?
Yeah, it was like a legit closet. And I
That's
remember
awesome.
he was like, "Yeah, it's only like $12 an hour or something." I'm like, "Dude, totally, we'll be there." And then it was like a closet. So we recorded in the closet, and then I just at that time, it was just like hit up everybody and anybody in the world, whether they like it or you think they'll like it. You let them know who you are.
Gotcha.
And I don't know how it works. We ended up doing a show in the tri-state area, and on the way up, we knew that nobody was going to be at that show. Like we knew it was going to be a dead show. And on the way up, we got offered to play some skate park like 30 minutes before we get to that city.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, let's do the fucking skate. It's a competition. People are going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And eventually, after like 20 minutes of driving, like we're almost there. Like, oh shit, we can't cancel. That's such a dick thing to do. So we played the empty house show.
Oh.
And one of the people that were there, his name is Daniel, and he was like, dude, I have a guy who would love to produce you, and he lives in Bremerton, Washington. And I was like, dude, we can't just record. We recorded our last album in a closet because we have no money. Okay, so and our label wasn't gonna do shit. Like they were not a good label.
Mm.
And so yeah, it just like 2 weeks later or something, we go back up to play a show in Seattle, and it turns out that it's his buddy is Mike Herrera from MXPX. And I was like, and I remember like I was like, no, it's not really him. And like I was kind of thinking it was all bullshit. And we were staying in his house, like on his carpet or in his on his living room floor, and he like made a phone call, and then like literally like a day later, got a call from Mike Herrera, and he was like, I want you to record. I want to record your album. And so
Wow.
we recorded 3 songs in Boise, Idaho, in this really nice studio because we won some radio competition. And so they got 3 free recordings. And then the rest of so 10 songs we recorded in Bremerton with Mike. And we pretty much lived in his like studio house for like 3 months. And
Cool.
And then we are like, shit. And then, it's doors open up after that, like being around someone that of that caliber, you just start getting weird offers. And our distribution company called us, and they were like, hey, we want to use your song. And me being the idiot that I am, I didn't know any better, and I was just so new to everything, and I sent them the demo version that we recorded in the closet. So not even the good version that was actually like professionally done, and it's really good. And they actually aired it. So the shitty demo version is what they got, and they aired
That's
it.
funny, man.
I was like, all right, well, that's the closet one.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Well, the
so
first track I
was
wanted to play off that album is actually called Safety Nets and Fasten Windows. What can you tell us about that song?
that song is a dark song. It is it was written on Christmas Eve, and it's about my father passing,
Oh,
and his birthday is Christmas Eve. So it was like this weird, like,
a double whammy.
yeah, it was like this overwhelming feeling. And I remember I was watching a lot of Walk the Line and listening to a lot of Johnny Cash. And so that just the whole thing just came out. And I remember I was like, this is a dark song. I don't know how this is gonna work. And then when I brought it to the band, when Dave started playing the bass, it just had like a happier dark. And I was like, I don't know, it was like my first time like exposing myself, I guess.
Gotcha.
So it was a little bit of a test for me. Like, it's okay to open up a little bit. It's
Gotcha.
gonna be okay. But yeah, it did really good. It's done great. We love that song. That's definitely one of our top songs for sure.
Well, it was my favorite from the album. So I'll go ahead and play it. So here's Safety Nets and Fasten Windows by Sprockets. right, welcome back to the show, everyone. You guys have a wide range of influences, and it shows on that album. So I wanted to go into another song that's a little more different. What can you tell us about the song "The Sound of Existence"?
Sound of Existence was recorded in a bathroom, in Mike's bathroom,
That's awesome.
because I was convinced I could only sing at that time. I could sing that style with like chorus or some kind of echo, and the engineer and everything he was doing wasn't working. And I was in the bathroom for a duration of man work, and reading magazines and stuff, and I started singing it just out of the blue, and I was like, "Dude, this is the place." And then I walked out, and I was like, "Hey, can we do it in the bathroom?" And he was like, "You want to record in the bathroom?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Every room in this house is mic'd up." And I was like, "Fucking, let's do it!" And so we recorded it in the it's a romantic song, so I thought it was a nice touch.
So it's fitting for the bathroom.
Yeah, I recorded it right on the bathroom toilet too, just
That's
straight
awesome.
up.
That's amazing. All right, so for those at home, here is "The Sound of Existence" by Sprockets. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This leads us up to the third album, and there was quite a bit of gap in the making of the two albums. How do you feel your music has benefited and evolved leading up to the album Armageddon Pigments?
I think we kind of let ourselves down. There was a lot of like this, like we got like nominated for like a contender to the Grammys, which is, it's like the one step before you get to the Grammys type thing. It's like
Gotcha.
I don't know, it's like a preliminary round, and so we thought for sure like more doors were going to open up for us and things were going to start happening, and things just kind of didn't happen. And so I was like, God, what else do we have to do? Like I was kind of like just kind of defeated. And
Gotcha.
then, we started having kids and married, and what I mean, like family stuff. And I started helping, I started working in the Vegas fields, and I don't know, I moved back to Idaho, Dave moved back to Idaho, we moved back to Vegas. I don't know, it was like this growing period, so to speak.
Gotcha.
And
So a real crossroads for the band.
yeah, and I think everyone was just kind of waiting to see if I was losing my shit or not. Like, like, is he gonna do this? Is he ever gonna come back? Is he just like, is he out there exploring and he will come back? Or
So what made you want to keep persevering and bring that band back together since everyone moved away? Like, what was it?
I'm obsessed with writing music. It's like the only thing that centers me, I guess. It's like my therapeutic release. And so I become kind of a monster when I'm not doing it. Like
I gotcha.
Like I drink too much, or I smoke, or like I'm just like, you could tell like my path is just we're not even in the picture anymore. We're just somewhere off in the woods, and so I feel like I just more of a sound person of it. Ironically, I'm a better for society if I play music that's about, it probably is against society most of the time. So, but, and I fall in love with these songs. So I end up like, I feel like I have to release them for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's like egotistical or if it's some calling or it's just boredom. I don't know what it is. Gotcha. But I feel like I have to do it, right?
So you just had this gnawing you to get the band back together.
Yeah, and so we started playing, and we started getting comfortable in our instruments again, and we had some good songs. And I was introduced to Jesse Lawson through a mutual friend of Mike Herrera, and his name is Joe Moxley. He's absolutely amazing. He has like a winery called Anchor Wine, and it's great. But Jesse Lawson, he was a guitarist for Sleeping with Sirens, and he came to Vegas, and we were told to hang out and party, and so he was kind of one of those weird, like, I don't know you kind of thing. I don't really know what to do with you, but we hit it off like bromance style, and he was like, nice. I'm recording your album, and I was like, shit. I was like, okay. And we went to Salt Lake and recorded with his nickname is Bucket. I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told like he's like the protege to like John Feldman of Goldfinger. So I was really excited about it. And so we recorded 5 songs with him, and then we labeled it because we didn't know if we were going to be Sprockets anymore. So we put it as Zom Sawyer. And so it's like an EP. And then after that, like, no, like I sent it out to all these radio stations and everything, and they just didn't, like, nobody was responding. And so just one day I was like, let's record the rest of an album, put it out as Sprockets, put those songs back on, and then we'll send it back out and see if anyone cares. And so then we did that. And so 2 years later it came out. So we recorded it in 2016, 2018 it came out. And then all of a sudden, magically, radio stations cared about the same songs that they did not care about. And I was like, I guess we're stuck with this shit. So I try to get rid of Sprockets. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
and so then it did well. And now the pandemic really thrusted us to where we are now. So
the first song that I'm going to play off that album is Graffiti. What can you tell us about that song in the video?
Graffiti was that song that I wrote. I wrote it way back when I was recording Medicaid Empty. I wrote that song, and it was one of those ones I just knew that would do well with the right people involved. And I always imagined it to be like the Warped Tour song we had. Like that's the one that I feel like if you played at Warped Tour, it would just go crazy. And so we, when we were recording with Jesse Lawson, I asked him, I was just like, dude, you have such a good range. Like, he has such a higher voice than I do, and such a like kind of a scratchier growl than I do. And I was like, will you be on this song with me? And he was like, fuck yeah. And so
Nice.
He jumped on, and it's a great song. We love playing that song. That's definitely like a go-to whenever we have a short list. That's one of the songs getting played for sure.
Awesome. All right, so here is the video for Graffiti by Sprockets. And welcome back to the show, everyone. So as we touched on, this album also got some good press, picked up by radio, especially, the song Romantic as Hell that was on the radio. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask, do you remember when you first heard your songs on the radio? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I guess I do remember it was on the local station in Idaho. Well, it wasn't a local station. It was like a local hour, local night or something. And gotcha. And Randy still plays us on as a local there, like a lot. So we shout out to Randy. Randy's amazing. But he, like they played us, and I was always calling in to the radio station requesting bands. And then when somebody would say, like Big J, especially, he was like one of the main guys over there, and he was like, it's like he would yell at me for calling so much. And then we always get in like conversations about like how much I don't like this band and how he loves this band.
Gotcha.
And so the radio station just kind of knew me just from that annoying kid that would just never stop calling. I would call like at my lunch breaks, like, I mean, constantly.
I love it.
And so when it happened, I was stoked and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It was definitely like, oh my God, this is so cool. But then the cooler moments was when it was playing and I didn't know.
Oh,
And then I get those texts, you know, like, hey, you're on the radio right now. It's like, yes,
that's cool.
that is such a good feeling, you know, like
Yeah.
when they tell you and you prepare, it's like, this is probably the only time it's ever going to play. But then when you get it again, it's like, oh, okay, that's a cool feeling, you know, like
Yeah.
I like getting those texts.
The song I want to play next is Romantic as Hell. What can you tell us about that song?
I've always tried to put a little bit of edge to our songs, because I feel like a lot of people categorize us as like a pop punk, and then some people like melodic punk, and I feel like I just try to keep a little bit of an edge, and I really wanted to do like a heavier style song, and I was listening to Rope from Foo Fighters, and that little guitar where it's like the beginning, dun, 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 and then it's like, and then it goes, it like overlaps on the left ear and it overlaps on the right ear, but they're not synced up.
Mhm.
So it's like a weird beat until like the drums come in. You can't really like place where it's supposed to be, and I just had it like stuck in my head. And so from there, it just turned into Romantic as Hell. And then when Maddie was playing the drums to it, he's like, I'm not doing double bass. I'm like, dude, it needs double bass, man.
Oh, that's funny. He didn't want to do it because that's such a prominent part of that song.
Totally. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. You got to do the double bass. And then Dave was like, you got to do the double bass. And now he's like in this new album, I swear, like he threw double bass in so many parts. I'm like, didn't need it. But you know what? It's awesome. So yeah, it was kind of it became a little heavier than I think everybody wanted it to be, but I think it's perfect the way it is. So
all right, so for those at home, here is Romantic as Hell by Sprockets.
Bastard shadows caught in the line. I know the clever pun, dodge a loaded gun, but I barely made it out alive with a choking grin and a glass of gin. Slowly watch the time. This is romantic as hell. Burning eyeliner with ourselves. Master mixer wishing well. Where I found coins that help me bail me out of predicaments. I found a way to hug me back to you. In the anchor of a storm, we are anything but bored. Romantic tragedies kept me suffering slowly. With 2 minutes until midnight, we poke weak spots on our souls and counted butterflies dying in the lining of my stomachs. That's not a better time to be sipping on charcoal colored wine. This is romantic as hell. Burning eyeliner with ourselves. Master mixer wishing well. Where I found coins that help me bail me out of predicaments. I found a way to hug me back to you. In the anchor of a storm, we are anything but bored. as hell. Burning eyeliner with ourselves. Master mixer, wishing well. Where I found coins that help me bail me out of predicaments. I found a way to hold me back to you. In the anchor of a storm, we are anything but true friends. Might be at the world's end. As we spin like twine in our graves, we find our heart's way.
All right, welcome back to the show, guys. So I want to talk a bit about touring. You have had the privilege to share the stage with bands like MXPX, Unwritten Law, the Ataris, and Hawthorne Heights, just to name a few.
Mhm.
What musical advice were you given in your early years that's kind of stuck with you to today?
Oh, I mean, automatically, Mike Herrera just telling me, don't procrastinate. Just get everything done. Just get it done. If you have an idea, don't say you're going to do it tomorrow. Don't, hey, I'm going to do it when I get home. You just get it done. There's no reason. You have phones, you have iPads, there's no reason not to. Just get it done. And, you hang out with that dude, and even when he's not touring, he's just on the phone constantly. He has interviews constantly. I mean, he's just always going, always writing songs, and he's just a machine. So I always took that, like, you just get, no procrastinating. Like, you take it seriously, even if you are doing it as a pleasure, or you're doing it trying to make it, or whatever the reason is. You'll let yourself down if you don't just do it. Okay, with the Ataris, it's funny because another Mike, the bassist for Ataris, long time, I don't think he is now, but back then when he was on Warped Tour, he used to tell me, we had a long conversation about successful bands, and I'm pretty sure that his I think the Ataris had So Long Astoria on the radio at that time. So I think they were kind of at their huge point. And they were just like, he was like, dude, not everyone's gonna be a simple plan. Not everyone's gonna be, you can't just expect success. Like,
Sure.
You cannot put your standards up to, oh, Simple Plan does it, so I'm gonna do it. Oh, Offspring's up there, I'm gonna do it. Like, you can't put, like, there's a lot of bands that are very successful that are not at that top level, and you gotta find success in that. And you always see like all these interviews with people, and they all say, like, even all the people that made it, it's like, we got lucky, like we got lucky, the right person at the right time put the right amount of money, and then we had the right chemistry in that moment to make, like, it's just all like the perfect hand, so to speak. And so carrying those traits, just kind of being realistic about it, I think that's really helped us persevere, and not just like, a lot of bands give up after two albums, like, it doesn't, we almost gave up after two albums, but like, you fall in love with the music and not what's around the music, because when you start getting older, you don't care about partying, and you got to fall in love with the music. You can't just think that it's going to be big or nothing. It's like that first or last shit, and it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That's actually good advice, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I thought so. I appreciate their advice.
So you guys have been putting out some new music, and one of the new singles that I was going to play is Matchbook Strike. What can you tell us about that song and video?
Matchbook Strike was a song before it was this song. And we knew that the chorus was catchy as hell. And but whatever reason, the original version, which I think is absolutely amazing, it just didn't like have that natural flow. It just kept on like, so I guess Matchbook Strike from the beginning was a problem, but we loved it. It was just a fucking problem. And it's like everything you could think of, whatever went wrong with that song. So we recorded it, and then we put a tempo to it, and it's like, oh, this is a different tempo than this. And we tried to make it work, and it didn't work. So we rewrote it, and then we brought it to the table, and then it became like, oh, this is a good song. Okay. So then we recorded it, and then we were doing the video while we were doing the final cuts of the song. Mm-hmm. So the video was being recorded with like a scratch track. And then when we did the final, we found out that like the music shifted a little bit, so it wasn't on time. So all my vocals I did were off, so we had to redo everything.
Oh man.
And then I had to match it back up to the video. And then when the video, we had a bunch of people that are supposed to come out for it, and like a few people did, so we couldn't do that thing. So we had to like improvise the video when we were out there. And then like
so every
like,
little step,
every
something was going
little
wrong,
thing.
man.
And then it was like the editing. There was all these horrible things on the walls. So if you watch the video, there's a bunch of like blurs. And it's just, and I was like, after like editing for hours, I'm like, I think we're done. And I sent it to somebody to see, and they're like, you can't have that. You can't, do you support that? And I was like, no. And then it took me hours to do it. And then it was just like every little thing, every little thing from all, and it's like, we love the song so much. We just kept it. But I think if it was any less of a song, there was no way we would have finished it. It'd have been scrapped
a long time ago. Gotcha.
For sure.
So the important part is, are you happy with the final product now?
Yes.
After all of that, was it worth it?
Yeah. We love it.
So here is Matchbook Strike by Sprockets.
But your umbrella's catching all the symptoms of a broken down system. Beauty away, your face spans over decades. Wired and laid, your fans are your headaches. Why can't they see you so clearly? Why is the kaleidoscope seem to be my only hope? Seeing you again and again, and I realize you can't be by my side. Cinderella mannequin, a designated dreamer, a corporate pulled by the manifest, masked by a mannequin, a puppet made to kiss again and again. Eyes of kaleidoscope seem to be my only hope, seeing you again and again, and I realize you can't be by my side.
And welcome back to the show. So I just was curious, the singles that you've been putting out, are they standalone singles or are they part of the new album?
They are part of the new album.
Okay.
And we were thinking about doing something special, maybe, in the middle of, I don't know, like July or August, where we start doing singles out with songs that will never be recorded on an album.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to download that album or purchase it, and you get that song, but once it's gone, Like once the album's up and those singles are gone, that's it. Never be spoke of ever again.
Gotcha. That'd
Unless
be kind of
you know, we're drunk in an alleyway somewhere and like, remember this song? You know, like doing that thing. That's the only time you'll ever hear that song ever again. And so we're thinking about doing that, but as of right now, yeah, they're all just leading up to yeah, we didn't know that the world was gonna open up or ever or when or so we're just like we're just gonna do a video every month.
Oh, nice.
And that replaced our shows, you know, like
Yeah.
getting together and doing that and then creatively kind of like it replaced that kind of synergy that we had and it kept us kind of like moving forward and seeing the future and not being discouraged on not playing shows. Yeah, I mean it's all one big album and right now we're still recording new songs for the next album, so I mean there's a good chance we're going to do this next year too and just have a whole year just every month new single, new music video and see how people like it. I mean, I don't know if it's a tease or if it's annoying to see a new update every 2 weeks from us, or I don't know. We're kind of testing it out.
Well,
So
for your fans that have, followed you through the years up to this point, what can you tell them or what can they expect from this new album?
if you know of us from the start, there are songs on here that we used to play live back in the day.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
haven't been released yet. Obviously, there's a little bit of a twist to them, but I felt they were so personal, I never wanted to record them.
Oh, okay.
And people would always request it when we play it live. And it was like only a live show. That is on this album. So there are some hidden gems for people that maybe were requesting songs back then and I refused to
That's
record
amazing.
them.
So these fans are gonna be like, oh man, I remember when they used to play that back in the day, and now it's on
Yeah,
an album.
like
That's cool.
15 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I do on all my shows is I just like to give you the floor and say, what would you like to say to your fans?
I would like to say that we love you, and you know we're sorry we're not good sometimes, but we try to be better. Don't lose faith in us, please. Tell us about you. Tell your grandma, because they talk to everyone, and make sure that just if you do like us, just let us know. I mean, that's really what it is. Like, don't just watch us from afar and don't say anything. Let us know what you like and what you don't like, and we take all that into consideration when we do stuff. We don't want to write bad songs. So if you tell us, it helps us immensely. Don't just be like, oh, that wasn't that great of a song, and then never tell us. We can take the brutal rejections and the harsh honesty, and I hope. There's a couple songs that are going to come out that I'm not sure that should ever have came out, but we think it'd be such a fun live show. Like, we think there'd be a good mosh pit for it and there'll be a good lot of chanting. So we're going to roll the dice and release it with a video and everything. So yeah, just tell us that it sucked. It's okay. We probably know.
Well, you're from Vegas, so you're used to the gamble, right?
Yeah, we do the gambling on a regular. That's what we do for breakfast.
Exactly. Well, very cool. So for those watching at home, I'm going to have a link below in the description where you can follow Sprockets on all their social media. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel and get new bands on. And come back next week when we'll have a new band. Brody, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.